Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now, hey now, hey now. Hey now, and a hey now, and a hey now. Hour number 2, number 34 of the line. Whatever hour it is.
It's just
It's
4.
so hot.
You okay, man?
It's just hot in here, man. It's hot, or I'm having hot flashes, or whatever. I'm just still dealing with the remnants of this stuff, and so it's just shaking it off. I gotta shake it off. I just couldn't. I couldn't have another day of sitting on the couch and scrolling mindlessly. I had to get out and get after it and do something. I missed my people. I wanted to get back on my people.
There you go.
We are currently in the midst of verdict watch in the Lindsay Clancy murder trial. Who knows if a verdict comes down today? I would be shocked if that's the case, but also at the same time, many of these jurors are probably ready to go home. We may get a verdict during the pod tonight. There, John Burr. We got a podcast coming up
Yes, we do. A lot of fun stuff.
this evening, so very excited to be putting a new one out. My mom and my sister come into town late
Are they gonna be-
tonight.
late tonight.
Yeah, no, they don't have time to do the podcast. I don't know that after last time my sister was on the podcast, I don't know that she'll ever come back.
Yeah, but we've turned it around. We're not quite as tacky as that now.
We should replay that one day though.
Oh,
Because that
no.
was so good, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, that was one of our funnier episodes. That's probably, I think that might be top 5. Top
Yeah,
10 for sure.
Just the look on Abby's face.
Oh,
is,
it's priceless.
Oh,
It was
gosh.
so good. And the look on your face, too, because you were so embarrassed by it. Oh, it was so great.
yeah, Tony and I were so excited. Yeah. We want to play Angry Shakespeare for you.
I
Oh,
did pick the
man.
nastiest
Yes,
one.
it was awful.
Oh, man. Can I just piggyback? I know I like to reset each hour, but I want to piggyback off what we were talking about just before we went to the break. And that was this executive order, which would help prevent truckloads of illegitimate ballots from being counted in elections, because we had that situation with that one truck driver. His name was Jesse Morgan. He was ordered to take a truckload of ballots that were filled out from New York to Pennsylvania. Now, there's only one reason you'd be doing that, and that is because you were taking illegally filled out ballots in New York that were obviously, what are they doing in New York is the question, because they don't belong in New York. This is not a situation where a company was contracted out of New York to print the ballots for Pennsylvania. No, these were ballots that were filled out. He gets the load, he sees what's in there. He's then told to stop at a different location than the destination, drop off the trailer, and then get some sleep. And then when he comes back the next morning, the truck is gone. And he's got no paperwork to prove that he had it or prove that he dropped it off there. Nothing other than, his location and, what he was doing before and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, he was a whistleblower, and some people obviously just dismiss this guy as just some sort of kooky, election denier or whatever. Now, this guy had nothing to gain and everything to lose by coming out and speaking on this, and I think that makes him a true patriot. The reason I say this is because of a particular reporter, whose name was he was a New York Times bestselling author and CIA-trained intelligence operations officer with 35 years of experience in global and national security, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer. He's retired, at least in 2020, he was retired. He was in Pennsylvania after the election when a tip came in from Jesse Morgan, who drove that truck for the U.S. Postal Service Jesse came out after the election, claimed he picked up a boatload of ballots, blah, 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 blah. New York, Pennsylvania, after many acts in the 2020 election were identified in the conservative media, Morgan, who's not some sort of conservative pundit, he decides to share his story when he started investigating whether or not what Morgan was saying was true. He was there to listen and vet Morgan and his story when he went to the press conference. Here's what he said. He said, after a period of time and much research and validation of Morgan and his story, Schaefer was convinced that Morgan was telling the truth, that a very suspicious truckload of completed ballots was delivered from New York to Pennsylvania before the election. Schaefer called his old friend and former U.S. Attorney General under President Reagan, Ed Meese, with this story. Meese contacted Attorney General at the time, Bill Barr, and filled him in on what Schaefer had shared with him. Within 10 minutes, Schaefer received a call from Bill Barr. Schaefer later described this conversation by saying the following. He said, not 10 minutes go by, and all of a sudden, I get a call from a 202 number. He said, hey, Tony, this is Bill Barr. What's going on? Tony Schaefer says, and I go through and explain what we just talked about, and he says, quote, you need to stop. You are interfering in my investigation. You are interfering with my investigation. Where is Mr. Morgan now? You can imagine Tony Schaefer shocked by the Attorney General coming at him with such a hostile tone. He says, I told him we had Mr. Morgan in a safe house. Bill Barr says, quote, you will stop now. You will turn him over to us immediately. You are now interfering in an FBI investigation. I said, and I explained to him that with all due respect, the FBI is not the organization to be investigating this based on all the problems. Quote, no, they're the ones that are working on this. You have no authority to continue doing anything that you are doing, says Bill Barr. Tony Schaefer says, and basically for the next 20 minutes, he yelled at me on the phone. That was the exact recount of Tony Schaefer when he talked to Bill Barr about the fact that a truckload of ballots filled out went from New York to Pennsylvania. Schaefer went on to say that he wanted to give Morgan whistleblower status, but Barr wouldn't have it. For his courage in coming out with his story, Morgan was attacked by the FBI at his house and accused of making the whole thing up. The FBI even asked him who was paying him to make up the story. They tried to railroad this guy for speaking out. Despite piles of affidavits across the country and numerous criminal or suspicious acts seemingly everywhere, Attorney General Bill Barr assured Americans that there just wasn't widespread voter fraud in the 2020 election. He repeated this claim multiple times after the election, but apparently he didn't even look. Never once was the truckload of filled out ballots ever mentioned by Bill Barr. Bill Barr doesn't get enough hate for according to what he deserves. He was a slimy, scummy individual, and it's disgusting that Fox News would still even have this guy on their airwaves. He is gross. And so anyway, Donald Trump making moves to make sure that kind of ish never happens again, because the deep state is everywhere. Secure the elections, baby. For those of you that are worried about how the midterms are going to come out, pay attention to these things. They're not being reported. Nobody's really talking about them, but there's a lot of small things that are being done, that are being signed in as an executive order. A lot of different policies and moves by the Trump administration to make the elections as secure as possible. And if it wasn't for 2020, this is the glass half full. This is the bright side of all this. If it wasn't for 2020, we wouldn't be doing any of this. we would actually probably be reliving 2020 right now. So it's better that we went ahead and got it out of our system and we can nip this crap in the bud while the Democrat Party attempts to destroy themselves over their embracing of socialism. It's all working out. Timing seems just right. 205 545 9950. Let's keep it rolling. More of the line coming up next. The socialists taking over the Democrat Party. That's another thing that's a good thing for the Republicans in the midterms. Keep pushing the socialism on Americans. Do it. They've got one nutcase that is the U.S. Senate candidate in Oklahoma. You got a socialist candidate in Oklahoma of all places, John Bird. Her name's Nikila Jasmine Thomas, and she is a bizarre one. She has a video out. I don't know if it's a TikTok or what, but she's in her bedroom, running around to the. On TikTok you put your own, like you can take a different TikTok's audio and put it on your audio.
Right, right.
It's that deal, and it's like a girl screaming, and so she's apparently the girl screaming, and she pulls out a printed picture of Mclain, who was the senator of Oklahoma at the time that I guess she was going to be running against until he joined the administration. And she's got a pair of scissors, and she's all cutting up the picture and everything else. And then she puts it in a notebook. Hold on, I'm looking here. She's got the picture. She's pulling it out. She's cutting it up with scissors. And she's putting it in a book and taping it on one of the pages as she acts. And by the way, she's doing these really. Oh, it says burn book. Is that what it says? Burn book.
Burn book.
So she put a picture of Markwayne Mullen in that book, and I guess she's alluding to she's going to burn it. She's going to burn Markwayne Mullen. Anyway, she's crazy. She is a legitimate crazy lady. I guess she's a white lady. I don't know. But typical white liberal woman that's absolutely out of her mind. But she is one of the socialists out in Oklahoma, of all places. Keep it up, man. That's what I say. Keep it up, because people are just not going to buy into it. I mean, even people, immigrants that are here legally, say from Cuba, for instance, right? If you go up to a Cuban American and tell them that we want to do socialism here, but we promise it'll work this time, what do you think those Cubans are going to say? John Burr, what do you think they'll say?
No, that's where we.
What?
And then we over there, and then there's a boat and all that.
They're going to say that, no, we're not doing socialism. We did socialism where I came from.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing socialism. They don't want to do it anymore.
We've done socialism, and I don't care how you repackage it. I don't care what kind of label you put on it. Democrat, socialism, or whatever. We're not doing it. We know what that leads to. And for those super highly educated white liberals here in this country who don't understand that, they instead demean said Cuban Americans to say, oh, they just don't understand. They're not as educated as we are. We're smart. We know what democratic socialism does. Listen to MSNBC. This reporter suggesting that the Cubans that are against the socialist candidates just don't know what they're talking about.
Well, Peter, there is a skittishness here on the ground in Florida. I just got off the phone with a Democratic strategist here in the state who reminded me that the general election electorate versus the primary electorate is very different here in Florida. In Florida, you've got about 1.5 million more registered Republicans than Democrats. You also have about 1.6 million members of the Cuban diaspora. Those Cubans often lean conservative. Many of them have a strong aversion towards communism. What we've been hearing from Republican politicians, from President Trump on down, is a conflation, an incorrect conflation of communism and democratic socialism. If that messaging sticks, that could be a serious issue for Angie Nixon.
Yeah, Angie Nixon. Angie Nixon's the ones running in Florida. And so basically what they're saying is the Cubans are being fooled into thinking that this is the same kind of socialism. Cubans have an aversion to communism, but that's not what this is. This is Democrat socialism. And they're just too stupid to realize it. It's like, wow. MSNBC reporters are bold enough to come out and tell Cuban Americans that they're stupid and they don't understand what they're talking about. It's because they're much smarter than you. I'm a white, educated liberal that knows better than you do. But like I said, man, keep it up. Keep it up. Keep pushing the commies. Keep pushing the socialists. Give them to us. Did anybody? I guess y'all probably saw a couple nights ago. Jesse Waters had Abdul El Sayed on his show. Did y'all see that? That was a pretty. That was an amazing interview. I think Jesse came in a little hot. It was a little hostile, but anything, it really didn't matter because El Sayed is an absolute bozo. He tries to be Mr. Cool, smooth, calm, and collected like an Obama type, but his views are so radical that no matter how cool you try to act, you're going to end up looking like an idiot. Listen to what they did when he asked him about sex changes for minors.
Sex changes for minors. Do you support that?
Look, I remember having great conversations with my conservative friends about right to try legislation. The idea that the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. I just think the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. And if you're a minor, it's between
you want to
your
try
doctor
on
and your
kids?
parent. Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree that healthcare decisions need to be made by a doctor and their parents and a patient, then we think we agree to disagree. But you want to put government inside.
So Abdul, you're a doctor, right?
Selectively. I am.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's thing-a-ling off? You think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a
Jesse,
personal question.
Okay,
doctor.
So you probably should want to move on.
Is circumcision's different than castration?
I think it's a problem. It's a problem that you think that you get to decide what happens between a parent, a doctor, and a patient. And I'm just saying that, yes, circumcision is surgery on a kid's ding-a-ling. So if you really want to bring that up, you can. I just think you guys are really selective about how you want to talk about these things.
Abdul, Michigan's not going for that. That is sick stuff.
That is bizarre. I mean, is it just me, Bert, or is like...
No, I mean, you're right. No matter how you package it, it's like he tries to come off like a conservative, in his demeanor and tone, but he's saying crazy stuff.
Well, he then asked Jesse Waters if he's circumcised and says getting circumcised is the same as a sex change for a minor. It's just the same thing. It's surgery on their ding-a-ling. Those are his words. So chopping your ding-a-ling off completely is the same as just chopping off a little bit of the tip. So that's Abdul El Sayed for you. Good luck on deciding that one, Michigan. ChuckDavisLaw.com, ChuckDavisLaw.com, my personal attorney, Chuck Davis. He's waiting on your phone call. You got a need for an attorney, this is your guy. So you reach out to him, tell him what you got going on, and then y'all start making your moves. Even if you just need advice, man, you can call him and get some advice from him. He'll help you out however you need. Divorce, custody, wills, probate, contracts, real estate, personal injury, wrongful death, slip and fall, car wrecks, whatever it may be. Here's the number. Make sure you tell him I sent you. 205-823-9992. It's 205-823-9992. Online, ChuckDavisLaw.com. No representation is made that the legal services provided are superior to the legal services provided by other lawyers. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Wheel of Segments.
I'm just a kid.
I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I don't watch the news because I'm a kid, and apparently Grandpa just gives me a remote after we watch the Powerball.
And here it goes. I'm just a kid, and life is a nightmare. I'm just a kid. I know that it's not fair. Nobody cares, 'cause I'm alone, and the world is having more fun than me tonight.
All right, I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid. Let's see what we got today, John Bird. Up first. Headline: Father leaves 7-year-old son alone on Mount Fuji to continue hike.
What?
That's right. He just said, F them kids, I'm out of here. A father has been reprimanded by police after leaving his son on Japan's highest mountain for several hours with just a soft drink and a snack. At least he left him with that, I guess.
Man.
The 7-year-old was spotted sitting on a bench on Mount Fuji in foggy and rainy conditions at a point situated just over 6,500 feet up the mountain.
Dang.
His father, who's 48 years old, reportedly told him to, quote, wait here after the boy complained he was tired and continued the climb with his elder son. So he had 2 kids with him, and he was like,
Gosh.
man, your brother's being a little brat. We'll just make him sit on this bench, and we'll keep
You
going.
stay here if you no climb.
Staff at a mountain hut found the child near the 6th station of a hiking route towards the summit and alerted police. His father was tracked down between the route's 7th and 8th stations, said to be a 3-hour hike away. He was 3 hours from his kid by the time they found him. The boy was found on his own at 7:30 local time on Thursday, 7:30, I guess, p.m. Officers castigated the father, who, when he returned from the higher station, and reunited him with his son, who is said to have been tired and fussy after 8 hours of waiting. Even if it means having to give up on climbing the mountain together, leaving a child behind is unacceptable, one told him. According to Japan Today, he is said to have apologized for the rash decision.
Wait a minute. Is he not being charged?
It says the family
Lucid kid.
was reported to have been on the Fuji Nomiya route, which starts from the 5th station on the mountain, a spot which is accessible by public transport. From there, it takes around 5 hours to reach the peak and a further 3 hours to get down, climbing guides suggest. Mount Fuji, which stands at a height of 12,389 feet, has been the site of a number of climbing mishaps in recent years. In July, a 99-year-old woman had to be rescued attempting the route after falling and hurting her hip and back.
Oh, my gosh. 99?
Yeah, what are you climbing up Mount Fuji at 99 for? That's crazy behavior. And last year, a 27-year-old university student who went outside of official climbing season had to be rescued twice in 4 days after he went back to look for his lost mobile phone. And dude lost his iPhone on the first one, so he had to go back and he had to get rescued again. Mount Fuji, an active volcano located southwest of Tokyo, was granted World Heritage status in 2013. It is also one of 3 traditional holy mountains, together with Mount Tate and Mount Haku. Around 200,000 people climb it each year, but there are daily caps on some routes to avoid overcrowding.
Good grief. Why would you take your family on an 8-hour climb?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a bad idea. I wouldn't do it. I'd rather take them to the arcade or something.
Yeah. You know, that just, I guess Japanese people are built differently. Well, I mean, they are. They're smaller.
Oh, they
their
definitely
eyes are different.
Well, yes, but they are built differently as far as like how they treat their children, what they expect out of their children. Probably, I mean, I think the expectations are far different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unaliving in Japan is, you know, self-unaliving in Japan is through the roof. Always has been.
Yeah,
Too
they've
much
got
pressure.
They've got that one forest.
Oh man, there's a movie about that.
Where people unalive themselves.
Yes.
And then didn't Logan Paul and his brother like do a YouTube video where they went in there and they got in a bunch of trouble?
They got in a lot of trouble.
Ah,
because they found somebody.
They found a dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I remember. Next up, what do we got? Teacher creates fart corner to let her students pass gas in the classroom. That's not a bad idea.
Now, open a window and they can stick their butt out, but, I mean, it's going to permeate, especially if you got really bad gas.
An Atlanta teacher is going viral for setting up a designated corner of her elementary school classroom where students can go when they need to pass gas. The creator, Candy Sydney Browning, a 36-year-old second-grade teacher, showed off at the spot where students go with a fun little sign informing them they're now in the gusty winds area. There are air freshener sprays nearby, and according to her, the station works, and kids asked for it. She posted the video on TikTok where she goes by at Chocola ____. She describes herself as a millennial teacher and touts a classroom wish list. Sydney Browning begins, quote, "Okay, so y'all have been asking me about my gas station in my classroom." She walked through her brightly decorated classroom before reaching the now infamous area. She says, quote, "If they have to relieve themselves, they will just simply get up off the rug and they will walk back to that corner right there where you see that little yellow sign. And of course, we have everything they need over here," she said, showing off her array of scented sprays. The goal of this corner isn't just for laughs, though. It certainly elicited some online. Sydney Browning said it's to foster a better learning environment, one where children don't have to miss out on learning to go relieve themselves and have a safe place to do so away from their classmates.
Wait a minute. So you can pee in there too?
No, she's just talking about
You should have a pee corner. A bucket.
That's the station, she says. It's pretty simple. They just come stand here, and what I love about this is, while I'm teaching, no one has to ask. I don't have to stop teaching in order to say, yes, you can go. No, just get up, go excuse yourself, and I can continue teaching. And then, with the students inside the classroom, they don't lose any instruction. They can continue to learn. It's a win-win situation. Why wouldn't you? You know, what's the point? What's the point of me making them step out when they can continue to learn? When you step out of the classroom, you lose things. Wait, so is it, so is other teachers making kids walk out of the classroom to fart?
I don't know, but if you get up out of your seat to go back there, people are going to. And plus, you know, you've got some guys that go back there and go, and everybody's laughing, and suddenly it's.
When a kid's farting that much, though, I mean, yeah, and even if you just go in that corner, you let one rip, the whole class is going to hear it, and everybody's going to start laughing, and then you do have to stop teaching.
I don't know.
She concludes, quote, "So I would just rather my students continue to learn and we be mature about it, and me teach my students to be mature about relieving yourself appropriately and not amongst others, and still getting the education that you need and deserve." Okay, if you're trying to normalize farting, fine. But I don't know that you're preventing interruption in the classroom because, little Johnny's over there ripping ass, 6 feet from the class.
Looking for laughs.
The video was a follow-up after her previous one went viral, where a second-grade student asked her where the fart corner is this year. It starts with Sydney Browning at her desk filming with a student out of sight. Don't want to put the kids on the TikTok. The student asks, quote, "Where's the gas station going to be this year?" The teacher smiles and looks at the camera before looking back at the student. Quote, "You have to pass gas?" she asked. The student answers, "Yeah, I got to pass gas." They both gently laughed as she promises to create a new station for the new classroom. The video flashes to the making of the gas station. Sydney Brown sits at her desk while creating a graphic, printing out the sign and pasting it up in the corner. She says, quote, "So they're sitting here asking me, where's the gas station? Look no further, baby. It's here. I put this little bad boy right here." She says, "Oh, and I'm going to need some of these, right?" She points out her Febreze and blah, 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 blah.
I don't know how I feel about that. That's just, it ultimately came down to clicks.
Yeah.
What is your purpose for doing this?
I mean, obviously she's posting it on the internet, so she's looking for clicks. There's no doubt.
I don't know. I mean, you can't keep them silent. And if some kid has a really bad time, you spray it as much as you want. What one smart kid needs to do
is replace the Febreze with fart spray.
Oh my gosh!
She'll regret that fart corner forever.
You said the exact words I was going to say on that first sentence.
How about that?
Dang, plucked that out of my brain.
Last but not least, headline: woman, 38 years old, pretended to be 11 years old to trick couple into adopting her. Get your yawn out.
Oh, no, I'm showing disdain.
Get your yawn out.
Oh, my gosh. Shut up.
A woman has been arrested for posing as a child and tricking a couple into looking after her for more than a year.
What?
Amanda Maria Souza de Oliveira allegedly scammed the couple to get her own bedroom filled with toys and even throw a 12th birthday party for her despite her being 38 years old. She was charged with fraud and false identity for allegedly moving into the family's home for 14 months, disguising herself as a vulnerable girl 26 years younger. The couple testified at a hearing in Joinesville, Brazil, along with their son, a police officer, experts, and 2 professionals presented by the defense. This is a picture. This is a picture of the girl. She's 38, and she told him she was 12.
I can almost see it, but not quite.
Like, that's a big 12-year-old, though.
Well, yeah, but there are big 12-year-olds.
Prosecutors accused Amanda of creating the identity of Gabrielle Ferreira dos Santos and initially presenting herself as 11 before claiming she was 12. She had allegedly approached the religious community after claiming she had fled home after being mistreated and had no ID on her. Look at some of these pictures, by the way, that they've got of her.
Okay, all right, no.
She's drinking a bottle.
Yeah.
That's a big 12-year-old, bro.
Yeah.
The family believed they were helping a traumatized child and eventually treated her as a daughter, preparing a bedroom decorated with children's paintings and paying for her to live. They even organized a party to celebrate what they believed was her 12th birthday.
God.
According to the investigators, Amanda used an inflated, an infantilized voice.
Oh, infantilized.
Infantilized voice, children's toys, pacifiers, and baby bottles to maintain the alleged deception. She also claimed to have autism and said her adult appearance was the result of being forcibly given hormones during childhood.
Oh, my gosh.
Amanda admitted lying about who she was, but denied that she had intended to defraud anyone. According to police, she said, quote, "It is clear that I deceived people. I lied, but I did not intend to scam anyone." Here's a better picture of her to show that she's not 12 years old.
No. Okay. No.
You're going to look at that one in the face and be like,
Yeah, they're okay. All right. Then those, that couple deserves everything they got.
Her defense lawyer argued during opening of the trial that Amanda had not caused financial losses and said the identity was instead a survival strategy. Well, she did cause financial losses because they paid for a birthday party in the bedroom.
All those
and all that.
toys and food. She obviously eats a lot of food.
The defense attorney said it was the way she found to survive, but she has been a vulnerable person for more than 20 years. He added that there had been no allegation that Amanda had obtained financial advantage through robbery or theft, arguing that elements of fraud had not been established. Amanda's lawyer told reporters she had told investigators that she was seeking the attention, affection, and protection missing from her childhood. They also said Amanda believed revealing she was an adult would mean she would no longer receive the same care. But police in the Jonesville case was only the latest pattern in a pattern dating back more than a decade. A social worker said Amanda had stayed with her in Belo somewhere in 2017 while using a different name, Carolina, and presenting herself as a vulnerable teenager. So she had been she's done this before.
Man.
And it was just her latest shtick.
I guess she was trying to see how old she could get and still pull it off.
Yeah, dude, she did a good job to be looking like a 38-year-old and still fool people. That's what we call I'm just a kid. And Noto Roofing, NOTOroofing.com, NOTOroofing.com. That's my roofing guys. As you know, hit them up, get your free roof inspection, complimentary roof tune-up, and all the things that they offer you. You need to make sure your roof's in tip-top shape. Many of you in the audience have already taken them up on that. Appreciate you doing that. Very smart move on your part. With as many roofing companies that are out there, you're taking a gamble on whether or not you're getting one that's going to do the job right. Many don't do the job right. They just half-ass it, and then you end up with more problems than you started with. Don't end up in that situation. Get with Noto. Make sure these are your roofing guys. 205-823-9992. That's 205-823-99. Nope, that's Chuck's number. 205-848-2299. There we go. That's Noto's number. 205-848-2299. Online, NOTOroofing.com. All right, Ernest Financial, retirewithernest.com, retirewithernest.com. My buddy David Ernest. Get with him, man. Get with him. It's about your retirement, your money. You've been saving up your whole life. You've been putting this money back, and you want to make sure that it is used the way it needs to be used, and it's being invested the way it needs to be invested. You could be making money hand over fist right now instead of letting it just sit where it's at. And all you got to do is make a phone call to David Ernest. It's not going to cost you anything. They don't get fees from you, so they're just doing it to help you out to make sure you're in the best financial position you can possibly be. So whenever you need that money, whether it's retirement or before retirement or whenever, that it is expanded and you get as much money as possible. It's a smart move, man. Get with these guys. David's been doing it over 45 years. It's a long time, my friend. 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-7233. Online, retirewithernest.com. Podcast tonight. Y'all hang out with us and back tomorrow. See you, cuz.